Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. If you're already a part of the family, welcome back. We have another lovely video for you here today. So today's video is going to be all about SBA number 2, and as you can see, it says you're required to plan and prepare a low budget 3-course meal using frozen, canned and dried convenience foods. And it also says that fresh vegetables and herbs may be used to enhance your dishes. So let's get straight into the discussion points. Now, when you're doing this SBA, some key terms that you need to focus on are low budget, which means that the meal that you're going to select should be inexpensive and affordable for our entire family. You need to also pay attention to 3-course meal, which means that you're going to be making a meal comprising of an appetizer, a main meal, and a dessert. You need to focus on these 3 convenience foods specifically: canned, frozen, and dried. These must be included in the meal. Simply put, convenience foods are food items that are prepared or processed to make the time needed for preparation far less. Now, the complaint oftentimes is that convenience food can be unattractive or less tasty or high in sodium or sugar. Now, there are ways in which you can utilize convenience foods and make your meals attractive, and we're going to get into some examples of recipes that you can use for your SBA. Now, bear in mind that the SBA is only focusing on 3 particular types of convenience foods: canned, frozen, and dried. So we're going to look at some alternative ways in which you can utilize convenience foods in some of your popular dishes. Now, these are just some of the examples of food items that would be considered as dried or dehydrated, canned, and frozen convenience foods. Now, for your SBA, you can pull from some of these examples and utilize them in your dishes. The 3 components of a 3-course meal are appetizer, and this is the first course of the meal. It is usually referred to as the starter dish, and it's usually a small dish of food that whets the person's appetite, so it leaves them wanting more and anticipating what's to come next. The second course, which follows the appetizer, is the main course, and this is usually the heavier part of the meal, and it consists of a protein dish, a carbohydrate dish, and a vegetable dish. It may also be done as a one-pot meal. And then the third component, which is the dessert, is the last part of the meal, and it's usually the sweet course, so it closes the meal. Now, the good thing about the SBA, even though we are considering the fact that we're using 3 specific type of convenience foods, the question did not give any specifications as to which aspect of the meal it should be used with. So, for example, you can have a canned convenience food in all 3 of the courses, or you could have all 3 convenience foods in one course and the rest remain open. Now we're moving to the interesting part of the video, the choices of dishes that you can prepare. Now, for appetizer, you can prepare a vegetable bread bowl, and this would utilize frozen vegetables, which you will saute and then place in a bread bowl that you would form in a muffin cup. Next, you can prepare a tomato salsa with chips. For this one, you can use canned tomatoes, and of course you would enhance the dish by chopping or dicing vegetables like onions and other herbs and spices. Another option is barbecued meatballs, and of course this would be frozen, so you can use frozen beef or ground chicken. Another option is baked potato wedges, and this would utilize frozen potato wedges. They already come sliced and pre-packaged. Then we have gourmet mini corn dogs. Now, this would utilize frozen frankfurters that are enclosed in a batter. And next we have ham and cheese pinwheels. Now, this is a type of sandwich and it would use frozen ham slices. And my all-time favorite, tuna fish cakes. This would utilize canned tuna that you would mix with other ingredients to create this lovely creation. Now we're moving on to the main course options. First one being spaghetti and minced beef. Now this would feature a frozen component, which would be the minced beef. It would also feature a dried component, which would be the spaghetti. And if you want to throw in a canned aspect to it, you can purchase tomato sauce. Now you can always substitute minced beef for corned beef. Next we have vegetable fried rice, and this would use frozen vegetables, of course. Another one is rasta pasta, and this would feature dried pasta, and it would also feature frozen if you choose to add chicken to your recipe. And you can also utilize a canned sauce. If not, you can make your own sauce, which would still feature a convenience food, dried if you use powdered milk. Another option is spaghetti and meatballs, and it utilizes the same ingredients that you would use for spaghetti and minced beef, but this is just for persons who would like something that's a little bit more uniformed. Stewed peas is another option, and it would utilize a dried convenience foods in coconut milk. You would have to add water to it to reconstitute it before adding it, and you could also use frozen vegetables like carrots. And another option is cabbage and corned beef. This is a Jamaican classic, and of course it will use a canned convenience food, which would be the corned beef. Now some dessert options, you could prepare brownies, and this would use the pre-packaged boxed brownie mix. Another option that you could prepare are cupcakes, and you can do this in whatever flavor you desire. Also, this comes with a pre-packaged box cake mix. Cookies are always a great option for desserts, and this one utilizes oatmeal, and oatmeal would be a dried convenience food. This next option is pretty inexpensive. This is Jello pudding mix, and it could also be done in the form of a pie. So you could make your pie crust. You could either do the pastry, or if you want to do a graham cracker crust, you could do that as well. Another simple, inexpensive option is Jello. You could cut them in molds, and you could add other flavorings to give it a little pizzazz. And finally, you could prepare a parfait. Now basically the parfait is just a layer of sweet ingredients. So you could put your own twist on it to make it low budget by using boxed cake mix, and you could use ice cream. Now I know what you're thinking, ice cream is expensive, but you would choose a brand that is on the cheaper side. Or for example, if there's a little ice cream man that comes by the house on a Sunday, you can buy one of the cup ones. Now as usual, I'm going to share with you some general tips that you can utilize for your SBA. Number 1, ensure that the ingredients chosen are low budget. Now for the dishes that I've shared with you, the ingredients are pretty inexpensive and pretty easy to afford. Now remember that quantity has a lot to do with the amount of money that you spend, so I would suggest that you select a recipe that is more considerate of the amount of item being used. Number 2, ensure that all 3 convenience foods are integrated throughout the meal. Number 3, low budget does not mean boring. Show creativity when selecting your dishes. And number 4, cut back on the quantities of ingredients that are being used. Now if you've made it to the end of this video, I want to say a special thank you. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, like, and leave a comment down below.